All right, guys, here we are. I'll give you the real intro because I'm not as good at these. Ricky's the true good, uh, good person for this. All right, let me go to the podcast and let's get the voices in. Make sure we can hear everybody, and then we'll do a proper intro. That's not my crappy one. That's just like, oh hey, we're here.
Your like pre-intro was even bad as a pre-intro. You're like, I'll let him do
That was just
that.
failure. That was just failure all around. 100% just absolute failure. So let's let Ricky take over this because clearly I suck at this. So
All right. Well, I guess I have a pretty high bar.
oh
So,
yes.
I don't
hey
know about
everyone,
that.
and thanks for joining us and welcome to the show. We're a couple disabled guys passionate about all things accessibility. I almost forgot what I was saying there for a second. I'm Ricky, your local quadriplegic. With me as always is Bill,
What's going on?
the man with weak muscles but a strong heart.
Yes.
And last but not least, we have John.
Hello there, world.
He may not be able to see, but is always a sight for sore eyes. Together, we make up Real Life Problems, a podcast by the disabled, for the disabled, and even the able bodied too. And today we have guest Elijah with us, joining us. He is Elijah of, how do you pronounce it? Destroy and Duchin?
Dushin.
Dushin? Welcome, Elijah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little about yourself. I heard that you and Bill share a similar disability of MD, right?
Yeah, so I'm 19 years old from Southern California. I'm the founder of Destroy to Shin. That's the nonprofit organization that I run, which I founded when I was 15 years old. And our whole goal is to complete the cure for Duchenne muscular dystrophy by advancing gene editing and gene therapy into human practice. So that's what I spend a lot of my time on is working on that. I'm real passionate about medicine, and I also suffer from Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Nice. So you started that at 15.
Yep.
And
Wow.
so where is the organization now as opposed to where it was when you first started it?
Well, that's a good question. There's met a lot of people over the years starting to really gain a lot of support for it, raising a lot more money, and doing stuff like that. And I think we're really still, to be honest, we're still young, but we're about to. I think we're really close to breaking through. We have some good things coming up actually within a month or two, which I think is going to really help put Deshin on the map. More importantly, cure it.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think we're moving in the right direction. We're starting to get past that breakthrough point.
So what made you want to start this organization? I'm looking at the logo, by the way, behind you, and I really dig it.
Yeah.
Actually, before you answer that question, what is down there? I see, is that the Mario Bow Wow on there, and also a handicap symbol? Is that am I saying that? Am I finding that right, or is that just an angry face in the D?
So it's actually a DD, and one of the Ds is eating the other D, and it's kind of looking
Oh.
frightened, right? That's what's going on there. And it says Destroy Deshin. So that's the official logo of Destroy Deshin.
And how did you come up with that name?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when I was young, I started 15. My second semester of high school, started getting really into business and started reading a lot of business books and business role models and real passionate about it. And what I found was really interesting is some businesses, what they do from a marketing point of view is they come up with names with alliteration. For example, Coca-Cola. And so I thought, okay, something that would be catching that would stick in people's minds because it's very essential to business would
Mhm.
be something like Destroy to Shin, right?
Right.
And it clearly articulates what we're trying to do. We're trying to destroy the disease. So,
Mm-hmm. So now that we learned what destroy the shin is. Well, actually, what's the shin mean then?
Deshin is the disease.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
That
believe it
just
was the
goes to show my ignorance
it
then.
was the doctor. I believe it was the doctor that discovered it, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're really trying to destroy the shin. Okay, yeah. Straightforward.
Exactly.
I like
Um,
that. DD, destroy the shin.
I also like the complete the cure thing. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what exactly that means?
Yeah, so the official slogan of Destroy to Shin is complete the cure. And basically what that means is, um, what I want to articulate with that in terms of marketing is we don't need to find a cure, right? When you say find a cure, that sounds like
Yeah.
something's, you know, uh, 10, 30 years away, or maybe, 100 years away, right? But
Right.
no, it's not that. It's like we know how to cure it. We just need to complete it, right? We have the technology, and I'm referring to things like gene editing, gene therapy. And that has made major strides within the scientific community over the last 10 years. And so I want to help complete that, and that's a matter of raising the money to expedite getting this into human practice. And so that's what we mean by complete the cure, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's there. It kind of hints that, okay, the cure is there. We just now need to complete it, right? It's not find the cure. It's like it's not that's something that we're gonna go, oh, okay, well, let's pull it out of the air. It's not even that. It's like, no, we have good reason to believe that we can cure it very soon.
Gotcha.
Right.
So it's more of like, it's like we have steps to be able to get to a cure. It's not like, yeah, like you're saying, it's like, oh, we don't know where that cure is. We got to go find it. But there's steps to it. How do we complete these steps so we can finally, get it out there? And that's
Well,
what you mean by
complete it.
complete the cure.
Obviously, it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
mission
exactly,
complete. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know the cure is out there. We just have to find out how to get to it. Like it's not a matter of finding the cure. We know where it is, just the path.
Right.
If you want to get into the science of it, right, basically it's a matter of vectors, right? You got to be able to deliver it safely and effectively within a human patient, right?
Correct.
And so we have the cure, which would be CRISPR, right? That's a form
Right.
of gene editing.
And CRISPR is a form of gene editing.
That's yep.
Yeah.
And or gene therapy, which is basically where you insert the whole gene, right? But when it comes to Bill and our diseases, we have Shin. That's a lack of dystrophin. Now, dystrophin is the largest gene in your body, right? That's the largest gene in your body. So it's a lot of genetic information. A good analogy would be we have the melt. We have the melt. Okay. We need a melt truck to deliver it safely, right?
Yeah.
Right now, our melt trucks, they may just blow up, right? And that could be very dangerous. We need them
Yeah.
to go there, but we also need the melt trucks to go there fast, right? We need them to do it in a timely manner, right? So they need to be safe and in a timely manner. And but the thing is with dystrophin, okay, so on gene therapy, right? It's not gene editing, but on gene therapy, dystrophin is the largest gene in your body, right? So it's a lot of genetic information. So a good analogy with this would be the melt truck, right? The mel is super large. The mel truck cannot lift that much mel right now. So we need to make sure that the mel truck can also carry that much mel too if we want to use gene therapy. So it's a matter of what we need to do, right? The whole point of Destroyed Shin, what we're very interested scientifically, what we want to raise money for is how do we build a better mel truck? And I don't mean that literally. I mean, the vector
Yeah.
for
The delivery method. Your delivery method.
Exactly. And so that's what I mean by complete the cure. And it's just like, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. So yeah.
I like your enthusiasm for it. I like your enthusiasm. I like how you're always like, when I was talking to him when we were doing the podcast, he was like telling me his whole schedule. It's like every day he had a freaking podcast. Like, so it's just like he's trying to get the word out there. He's trying to let us know. I mean, heck, I'm even trying to help where I can, but that's awesome though. It's good stuff.
No, I mean it's so I mean this stuff is what I'm passionate about. I love business and I love biology, and it's like I have the disease, so it's like wow, what a perfect combination, right? But the other thing too is like I was explaining to my friend, to raise money is not that hard. We can do it if people knew about it, right? Let's do some math real quick, okay? You take $15 donation, right? Okay, basically like a little bit less or a little bit more than minimum wage, right? It's a very little bit amount for a person, right? $15.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to raise, I don't know, let's say $30 million, okay? You only need 2 million people to donate $15. That's very doable, right? That's very doable. If you take $1 million, I believe it's like 300,000 people to donate $15. Let me see, 300,000 times what? 15?
Yeah.
No, that's not correct. Hold on.
Wait.
Take $1 million divided by 15. Okay,
Yeah,
you need 66,000. You need less people. 66,000 basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So it doesn't. It's not a big number to reach. It's just
yeah, and that's
the voice that needs to be heard by everyone.
Right.
exactly
To be like, oh, I can do this.
Exactly. People do not know about the disease. They have never heard of it. Therefore, they don't care about it because they never heard of it. And even if you hear about a disease, but you have no attachment to it, you don't care about it.
Right.
Trying to change that by sharing my story, by being that face, by doing that. But more importantly, by having people with the disease on to give them a platform to let them voice their opinion, right? The world will hear the cries of the Duchenne community, right? And I think that's going to be really powerful because this is honestly, to be honest, and I'm not trying to be have a pity party, but if we're being honest, Duchenne is one of the worst diseases someone can have.
It
by
sucks.
far one of the worst.
It blows. It blows.
I mean, I don't have it like you, but I just, from like an outside perspective, I would have to say it sucks, right?
Well, Ricky, I mean, one thing that you can probably relate to is you remember when I used to be able to walk, right?
Yeah.
And so you've almost seen, from an outside perspective, you've seen it get worse.
I've seen your slow deterioration. Yeah.
Yeah, so it sucks.
Fucking
but
awful.
Here's the thing, right?
But we're not focusing on that. But still, it's true.
That's the thing. You can walk. We're gonna take that away from you, and then you can use your arms. We're gonna take that away from you. Oh, okay. You're just happy to be alive. No, we're gonna take it away from you too, right? That's what Duchenne does. Duchenne is the great thief. It's a big robber that's robbing people every single day, not just the individual, but it's robbing their parents, it's robbing their brothers and sisters, it's robbing their friends of the person that they love. That is why the disease is horrific.
And also because it's coming too. Like me, I had an accident and now I'm quadriplegic, but I know like this is where I'm gonna be, like this is my threshold. I'm gonna be in this state for till I probably die. But like something worse is probably around the corner. And I mean that in a very light way. I don't mean that in a very like pessimistic way. It's just like, but I feel like
we gotta be realistic.
No, it's true. It's in the back of your mind. Yes, it's very true.
We gotta be realistic though. And that's why my thing is that that's why I've kind of felt like I want to push myself to kind of do something like before things get worse. Like I want to try to make a difference. Even if I don't get cured, I want to at least say I did some shit while I was here.
A couple days ago had my annual heart checkup from a doctor, and that's always kind of scary. Like, okay, are they gonna find me?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I want to make sure that every single day I give this life my all. I made a life full of impact. I did everything I could to complete the cure. I did everything. Hopefully, we cure within our lifetime.
Yeah.
But if not, at least I can die knowing I did everything I could. And that's my mindset.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great mindset, especially for your young age too, of being a 19. Well, I mean, starting that at 15. When I was at 15, all I was doing was just fucking masturbating and riding my bike and going around trying to chase girls and stuff. But you at 15, you're starting an organization, and it's fucking phenomenal.
That's awesome.
But if I can ask a personal question, like, where are you at your stage of the disease? Like, I know Bill is in a chair and his legs are pretty weak now.
Yeah.
Like, where are you in your state? Like, where have you progressed to in your stage? Like, if that's okay to ask.
Yeah, everything's okay to ask. I can't walk. So I'm in a wheelchair. And my arms are pretty weak. But my heart and lungs are perfectly fine, which, hey man, all I need is to stay alive so I can complete the cure. That's all I want to do. I don't even care about me. It's like, I want to be alive so I can cure all these people and put an end to this horrific disease.
Yeah, understandably so. Did you have I'm guessing you were able to walk, but at what point was that like taken away from you?
11.
11 is okay. So I'm like, the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to gauge on like the speed of your disease as opposed to like Bill, because we were in high school. I knew him, and I knew when he was walking then with a little bit of trouble, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: they can't characterize me as a pure Duchenne, but it's the closest thing, because basically the way that you qualify as being a person that has Duchenne is if you do not have dystrophin. That is the sign. That is the that's the marker that they kind of say you have Duchenne. But there are other things that the doctors have seen. They're like, this is weird that you're able to do this. It's weird that you're, it's also weird that I'm the age that I am. But I don't know if it's that weird because I know there's people. I think the life expectancy is a lot longer than it used to be. But I don't honestly know. I don't look that shit up because I'm just like, why? Why look it up? Why look up what my life expectancy is? I have shit to do. I don't have time to be looking at that. Because
Right.
that's negativity. That's just negative. But I mean, they say that I'm kind of an outlier, but like I said, the closest thing that they can state is that I have Duchenne because of lack of dystrophin. So,
Gotcha. Well, okay, Elijah, you started this organization. What are like some major milestones that your organization has accomplished, and like what are some things that you're doing now that you're really proud of, as like um as well as like trying to raise money and awareness?
I think what I'm most proud of right now is we're, you know, giving people a voice. We're having parents be heard. We're having people that have been neglected, their pain and
hmm
suffering be heard, and truly uniting the community from a pure heart point of view, right? I feel like that's as most as I'll say on that. But I'm really proud of that. And I think we're just starting that now, to be honest. So I think that's something I'm really proud of though, because I like to see people be united. I like people to feel not alone. I like to see people of the world take an interest in these people now and care about it and want to cure the disease, because they want
right.
to cure the disease, we will cure the disease.
Right. And like are there any other milestones that you've done with your organization?
Well, I mean, I do public speaking quite a bit now. I wrote a book which we're working on publishing.
Oh
We have
wow,
some
you
PR stuff going. I mean, I've um, met with the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
You
whoa.
met with him?
Yeah. Um,
That's nice.
When was that?
that was 2019 in May.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's just some of the stuff I could think of, fundraisers, all that stuff, but nothing to where I want to get now. I'm only going to be happy when we complete the cure, right? I'm not sure we could celebrate many W's, but the W we want is the
Right.
cure.
Hey, I mean, you're
So you
winning some
said
battles.
you
You haven't won the war yet.
Mm.
yeah. So you said you wrote a book. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I wrote an autobiography. I finished it when I
Hmm.
was 17. It's now starting to come to fruition in terms of publishing. Um, and basically, it's, every story, major stories of my life. And then at the end of it, there's a life lesson that can help everybody, whether they have Duchenne or whatever, because everybody suffers to some degree. I do not care who you are, you suffer in some degree. And so I think that these lessons are going to really help people, because I'm a very big believer in don't letting your suffering go to waste, but use it to empower other people, right? I don't like to sit here and complain about my suffering. I like to talk about the reality of it, but most importantly, I like to solve the issue,
Right.
and I want to help people with their suffering. Right, my whole life cause is to minimize human suffering. Okay, and so there's different ways to bring that to life. Right, one of them would be to advance science forward to cure disease, because that would help people there. Another would be to share my suffering with other people and help them overcome their suffering. Right, help people strengthen their mindset, help people become mentally tougher, help people with whatever it is, or seriously, just be compassionate and hug someone whenever they're sad. Like stuff like that. That is my whole life cause, right? So there's so many ways,
Right.
poverty, homelessness, um, bringing peace to things, right? That's all minimizing human suffering. That's my whole life cause. So destroy Duchenne is just one of the methods to bring that to life.
That's that I like that outlook because I have like a common saying I like to say is through tragedy comes beauty. And I think that exemplifies it perfectly what you're doing is like, yeah, you may be in a tragic situation, but you're trying to really create beauty around you for yourself and those around you. And I think that's pretty admirable in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still pretty awesome to write a book. Something that I've always wanted to do. Like it's just like then I should just do it. Probably, you know.
Yeah.
When are the
I'm
plans
like,
for it to be published?
It's gonna be published next year.
Do you have a title or a working title?
Yep. It's called A Small If.
A small if. And how'd you come up with that?
Yeah. So it's kind of the theme of my life, to be honest. But basically, what happened is my spine, because of the shin, was getting really crooked. You know, scoliosis. And I
Right.
had to have metal, like a metal rod inserted into my back. Like that was what was going on. And so I asked the doctor,
Dang.
you know, hey, can I not have to have this? Is there anything I could do? And he's like, hey, as a doctor, I don't want to give you any false hope. I got to put my foot down. You have to have it. You know, my mom's crying. My dad's sad. I don't really want to have that. And in my mind, I'm going, I'm not going to have that. So I said, okay, if I were able to reverse my spine, could I then not have to have a metal rock in my back? I could avoid the surgery, right? If I was able to somehow reverse it.
Right.
He said, look, you know, as a doctor, I don't want to give you any false hope. I have to really encourage you. I've never seen it being done. It's basically medically impossible, right? You can't really do that. Never seen it done. Can give you false hope. But knowing you, I will give you a small if. And I go, aha. And so he gives me a small if. 4 months later, I go to physical therapy. I'm losing weight. I'm just completely, like, I post the x-ray on my wall so I can look at it every single day to know what I got to focus on. And I envision myself reversing my back, and I'm just fired up on doing the impossible. I love when people say, oh, you can't do something. And then I go and do exactly that. And so 4 months later, we go back, the x-rays, my spine is straight. What do you know? So
Fuck yeah.
I had the surgery.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's the first chapter of the book. That kind of lays out, and then we go back to when I'm young. But there you go, a small if. And then, you know, when it comes to this shin, right? Oh, you're gonna cure the disease. You have a small if. Good. I just need a small if. That's all I need. That's all I need.
That one small push.
Yeah, you
That
know,
opportunity, right? That small opportunity.
That's
You just need
awesome.
that window.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like you have a lot of motivation and a lot of drive, and
It's good.
which is not like as any type of disability in any sense sucks in general and stuff. And like just through my experience when like looking at people in the spinal cord injury community, there's people that get absorbed by the injury, or there's people that overcome the injury and don't let it define them. And it sounds like to you're definitely not one of the people that just got absorbed by it and were like, this is my outcome now. Here we go. You really planted yourself above it. And it's like, you know what? No, fuck this. I'm going to do something about it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point in being negative about it. You know, if you look at some of the great philosophers in history, they all had some type of suffering. Well, at least some of them did. I mean, one of my favorites is Epictetus. He was an ancient Greek Stoic, and he was actually lame. He couldn't walk. I'm pretty sure. And we literally say the same things. You know, if you look at Paul of Tarsus, right? You know, he talks about having a thorn in his flesh.
Right.
And
Yeah.
suffering like that. You know, there's a lot of great influential people. I mean, look, we're talking about Epictetus. Like, there's influential people today that are celebrities. But Epictetus has influenced a lot more than people know. Maybe you haven't heard of him, but he's influenced a lot. Like, his teachings have influenced a lot. Or if you look at Paul of Tarsus, I mean, he's Paul of Tarsus. He wrote 13 books out of the New Testament. Okay, he's influenced billions of people probably, right? And so my point, the reason I bring this up is because people that suffer, that go through real stuff, end up influencing a lot of people because they have knowledge, they have wisdom that can't be replicated unless you go through that suffering. At least that's my belief.
I agree.
No, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I mean, I know that from my own experiences, you know, just from what way I take things, you know, I don't let stuff stop me, and I'm not going to let stuff stop me, and I'm going to continue to do this.
You know, to be honest with you, I'm just going to be honest. I kind of take pride in it that I have it harder than other people. It's like, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it really real right now. I'm going to keep it really real.
Real?
You know,
real.
When some people, you know, let's say we're doing a competition and I know I have it harder, right? I'm still going to kick your butt. And I know I got it harder than you, and I take pride in that. Like, you are soft. Like, I'm gonna win 10 times over you, even though you don't even have this disability, you don't even have this disease, you don't even have what I have, but I'm still gonna kick your ass. You know, that's what's up. So
it's a good mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
So
it should be.
you've got so much motivation and driving force. Like, where do you think that motivation came from? Because not everyone has that kind of motivation that you have right now to just adapt and overcome. Like, is it you think your upbringing or people around you? Like, where do you find your motivation to be like to keep this positive mentality? And
Well, the first answer I always give people, which I gave Jeff Bezos, you can actually see he asked me the same question on his. You can see it on his Instagram. Um, there's a clip of him asking me this question. My answer is it just doesn't make logical sense to be negative. I don't know what negativity is going to do.
No.
Like it doesn't, oh yeah, okay, all right, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna make this very visual. Oh, I hate being in a wheelchair. The shin sucks. My life sucks. Yeah, I'm a victim. Life sucks. Oh, guess what? I still can't walk. I still have Duchenne. It doesn't change anything. So there's no point in focusing on that. Let's focus on, okay, well, there is some stuff out there that I could help advance so that we can cure this disease. I could use my suffering, which is a blessing in some sense, because now I can help people with their suffering. I can do good for the world. So why don't we focus on those things? That makes a lot more sense, right? So that's how I see that.
Right.
And the other thing too, is, I was raised by a football coach, a head football coach. My dad was a football coach, and I grew up on the field before we even knew I had Duchenne. So there's where my competitive spirit comes from, probably, and all that. And
right.
ever since I was young, I wanted to be a winner. I wanted to do something great for the world. I can't be average in life. I hate that. Like, I got to do something great. I can't just lay back. My personal slogan, if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, wherever, it's stay ambitious, right? If you're not ambitious, you're not really alive. It's like if you're just sitting there chilling, you're not alive. But it's when you're chasing after something, when you have that ambition, that's when you become alive. And so I'm always trying to stay ambitious and chase after something. So, so to answer your question, I don't know. It's like a mixture of those things.
No, I mean, I think you answered it pretty well, actually. Yeah, that was a pretty great response. You're just like, fuck yeah. But I mean, okay, so let's get even more real. Like, obviously you have dark days. Everyone has dark days. Like, what's a dark day like to you, and how do you pull yourself out of it?
Honestly, I'm a very open person, so I call a friend, tell them what's going on, or I work through it or work on something else.
So you work with your support system,
or honestly, right? I'm gonna just bring it up. I honestly don't even care anymore. I pray to God, right? And as I've said, I'm a very logical person. I'm fascinated with philosophy and stuff. If you really study the arguments for the existence of God, right? Because I know this is not common knowledge, right? It's overwhelming, right? Logically, I cannot see how there wouldn't be a God. When I look at the philosophical arguments and I look at the scientific arguments and look at the historical, right? There's so much evidence for it. And so I'm a very big believer in God. And I think that's a very important thing. So I pray to God about it too.
I mean, that's great. I myself am not a believer in God, but I am a believer that everyone can have their beliefs and such. And if that's an outlet,
I would ask you, why don't you believe in
God? Same reason to me. It just, I feel like I'm like on the opposite end of you. Like, it just doesn't seem logical to me. It just, I find more comfort in the fact that we are just a random happening in this world, and that I don't know. I find peace in the fact that our existence is completely insignificant to the scale of the universe. That what we do matters right now, but what we do doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, and that we just got to enjoy what we have right now, right here.
Yeah.
But like I said, although I may not believe in God myself, whatever people believe is fine with me, because everyone needs to have their own belief system, their own faith.
Well, yeah, but look, everyone can believe what they want to believe. Work that right, but it doesn't mean that what you believe is true.
Well,
right?
Here's one thing.
It's either true or it's not true. God either exists or he doesn't. It's one or the other. And I don't even care how I feel. It's like, if something's true, it's true. If it's like, okay, I don't like God because I don't like the way he feels, or I don't like the way he feels. it's like that doesn't mean he doesn't exist. That's a logical fallacy.
Well, see, to me though, one thing that we could say is I tend to fall into like the Christian area, and that's what I believe. But I will say that there has been studies where they have shown that prayer, regardless of if we
That's
could
true.
say prayer
That's true.
in general does it releases dopamine in your brain. It actually like helps you. It helps some people, like just like meditation for some people.
Yeah.
Like, so I think from that perspective, like, you can't argue, regardless of what one believes, if they're praying to whatever, the sun gods.
You're basically saying if God doesn't exist, right? Let's just assume
that
100%.
prayer's not hurting anything. If anything, it's helping you.
But scientifically, you're saying prayer still helps the individual, whether they're praying to basically nothing or if they're praying to actually God.
Right. So that's the point that I'm making, is that it's still beneficial. It's still beneficial if we're looking at it from that standpoint.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I think the most important thing that anyone can ask themselves for, cure to shin, not cure to shin, whatever, is what are their thoughts about God? Because that is the most important question by far. Even if God is not real, that is still the most important question. Because there's a lot at stake, right? And I'm not talking about heaven or hell. I'm talking about the implications of what it would mean if there wasn't no God, right? Talking about meaning, purpose, right? The absurdity of life if there is no God, right? It's insane. Right? There is no meaning. There is no purpose. If you create your own purpose, it's just illusory. It's not real purpose because there's no objective meaning. In order for there to be objective meaning, value, or purpose, there'd have to be a God. And that is just a logical an argument around it. Now that doesn't mean that God necessarily exists or doesn't. Right? That's not an argument for the existence of God.
I get what you're saying though.
But it is the implications of what it means if there is no God.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's something to think about.
I understand that argument, and it's a great argument. But for me, I'd have to agree to disagree on that certain topic. But
it's interesting.
It just doesn't seem.
Well, why? Well, I'm actually very interested in why you said you agree to disagree. So why do you disagree? And I'm going to join. My laptop's going to die. I'm going to join on my phone real quick. So let me in. All right, I'm joining on my phone.
It has become a curious.
Plug your laptop in.
It's become a curious one now. I like how Glitch is just like kind of.
Just wait. I'm keeping my mouth shut on this one because I have unique views. So...
Can you let me in?
Oh. I didn't know what you were saying. I was confused. I was completely confused as to what he was. All right, so now we get a different angle. Different view.
Here, I'll set it up on my thing. But
a different
so
perspective.
Why do you? So you said right now. You agree to disagree, which is great, right?
Well, the argument that you made was like, if there is no God, then there's no purpose. But I think the purpose that we create ourselves is the purpose that drives drives life. I think.
Yeah.
But my point is that's not objective. That's just illusory, right? Philosophically speaking. It's just illusions, right? It's not actual real purpose.
Oh, it's illusions. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How so?
How so? Because ultimately we know scientifically that the whole universe is going to come to an end, correct? Right? If you look at right?
Yeah. Okay.
For there to be objective meaning, you need two things. You need for objective meaning, value, and purpose, you need two conditions, right? Okay, if you think about this logically, you need God and you need eternity. If things are going to come to an end, nothing matters. Being a good person would make no sense because there's no such thing as right or wrong. There couldn't be because there's no anchor point for morality, right? There's no perfect standard of morality.
Yeah.
So nothing right or wrong, truly. It's all subjective, which is very uncomfortable to admit, right? And then the other thing too is if things are going to come to an end, then it doesn't matter what you do. If I cure to shin, right? Or we live forever on this earth, the universe is eventually going to end. Even if you say, okay, we're going to upload our consciousness into a computer. Okay, fine. The universe is still going to come to an end. All that is going to be destroyed, right?
Yeah.
And so that being said, really all this purpose now doesn't really matter. Like being a good person, one, what is a good person, right? If there's no anchor point of good and bad, okay?
Right.
And number two, what kind of purpose is it if it's all going to come to an end? It's not real purpose, right? Because it's not objective. I do believe, yes, someone can have individual purpose, but it's not objective, and therefore it's just not really real. It's you're basically creating an illusion for yourself.
I mean, if that's how you want to see it, but I disagree that morality is much deeper, and I think morality is deeper ingrained in the human psyche than it is than just God creating right or wrong. Because if you're getting down to it, then like if there say there is no God, and I am a person who doesn't believe it, but I feel like I am a good person, and what I do is I try and do good by others and
Yeah.
do good by
Okay.
myself. But like, what's like if there I don't really know exactly how to go about what I'm trying to explain, but
Well,
like,
here's my question. I know what you're getting at, right? So you're saying I'm a good person. I help with charity. I treat others nicely and kindly, right? Right.
yeah.
What justifies that for being good, right? Where's that grounded in? This is the whole philosophical argument, right? If you have no ground, how could you say that that's objectively true? That's just if there is no anchor point, right? And then it's subjective. That's just your opinion, right? So then if you look at other cultures or other people, they may think that killing someone is good. They think that that's a good person. Well, is that a good person? And you might say, well, no, that's absurd. But the thing is you can't objectively it's not objective and you can't justify it.
Well, yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
you have to have that anchor point. You have
can't
to have
compare your
Mhm.
society to a different society that has a completely different view on what may be good or right. You know what I'm saying?
If there's no ultimate standard,
Right.
standard, because then if you're saying
Yeah.
that morality is relative to that culture, right? Well, then you should never criticize any culture because it's their standard is themselves. But if there's a higher standard than them, then we have reason to criticize it. And that is why I think that there must be a God that exists. Because basically the way the argument goes is if there is no God, moral values and duties do not exist. However, objective moral values and duties do exist. Therefore, there must be a God, right?
But by what evidence, though?
What do you mean?
I mean, if
Okay,
that's your evidence, but like that's not very testable.
It is very testable. Ask yourself, do you think that objective morals exist? Yes or no? Do you think that some things are truly wrong? Yes or no?
Yeah.
That right? Okay, so then logically it follows that God exists. Because if you think that, okay, all right. So premise one, right? Objective morals do not exist if God does not exist. Okay? Because what is their anchor point? Okay, so that's premise one. Okay, premise two is objective morals exist. Okay, therefore God exists. So you would have to deny, logically that follows. If you would have to deny one of the premises, right? So premise two, from your moral experience, what do you experience? Because for me, I think that some things are certainly wrong. Certainly wrong. For example, tolerance or respecting someone else's opinion is morality. And so to simply go, well, I don't really think that objective morality exists, but it's all subjective. Well, now you're left with people being able to say whatever they want. You can't really get mad at them for whatever they do. Like, for example, if I try to, I don't know, if I think that being intolerant is a good thing, you can't get mad at me because that's just my opinion, because you said morality is just an opinion. But if you hold the belief that no, there's an expectation, which I think is very interesting, right? No, there's an actual expectation of how you're supposed to treat each other. Like, you expect me to be respectful towards you, and vice versa. You expect me to be intellectually honest with you. You expect me to not steal from you. You expect me to treat with respect. You expect me to not murder you. All these things. Well, that's morality. But where does that come from then? Right? Because that's like we're objectively going to something that's binding. Like we have this expectation of something that actually exists. But if morality is just subjective, right? It's just a matter of an opinion. Well, then, we can't truly say that anything is truly wrong. We can't say that Mother Teresa was necessarily better than Adolf Hitler, which I would never say. That Adolf Hitler is better than Mother Teresa. But if there's no
wait, he wasn't? No, I'm just
kidding. If I may cut in here
Bad
for
joke.
a moment.
Go ahead.
That's actually an example of a logical fallacy, because if you say, for example, that all teachers are good teachers and good teachers breed good students, for example, then that would assume that everyone on the planet is a good student.
So you're saying basically, so what is your argument? Because I don't think I said that.
No, you didn't say that. It's an example. What you were saying about the logic behind the existence of objective morality being a thing, therefore God must be a thing. That is an example of a logical fallacy.
No, it's not. That's not true. You're saying that because God is perfectly good, you're saying that everything that he creates must be perfectly good, right? That's your argument?
No.
Okay, then what's your argument?
That the statement itself of existence of the morals and God is a logical fallacy.
No, it's
Because-
not. It logically follows. What part? No serious person in academia says that. Everyone takes it seriously. They just disagree over the premises if the premises are true. What logical fallacy is it then?
Well,
I don't remember the exact name of the fallacy, but I did take a long look at the various logical fallacies in existence, and that definitely seems like one.
the one thing that I would say is that I did not come to my the reason why I did end up questioning my belief before, and it actually happened because of Bill fucking Maher, because of religious. Like, it actually made me question some shit, and then I looked into it, and I really thought about it. Eventually, the conversation just became full circle, where I realized that, well, I mean, I don't really, I eventually got to the conversation and talking about creation and stuff, and I was like, well, wait, I don't really know if I can explain this in any sort of way. And I don't know, just there's things that have happened in my life, but I understand that there's other people that don't believe these things. I can only base it on my personal experience as to why I in my heart know that it's what it is. But I can't tell other people. I can't tell other people that, because, like, you talk about hearts and feelings, like, that's not logic, that's not logic to people. But
my belief is purely on logic, right? So
Yeah.
I would argue one about this because
I could see both, though.
They don't have any.
Yeah.
Sure, but which one has more evidence? Which one makes more logical sense? Which one has more logical flaws in it? And that is the view of atheism. Atheism has way more logical flaws. I will say that all day. And I study philosophy all day. So, I mean, we could go at it.
Yeah. I think that'd be a topic for another day, though. This is more about.
Yeah.
That's what every person says. They say, "Oh, let's not talk about God. Let's not talk about God. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it." And then they never talk about it.
It's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's just,
I mean, I find this interesting.
We brought you on
actually.
it. We brought you on as a guest to interview you and highlight your organization and what you're doing and your fight towards the shoots and stuff like that.
It is an interesting.
Don't get me wrong. I love conversation. I love having conversations where people are different too, so we can learn new perspectives about each other.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I love the fact that you're so passionate about this as well too.
That's awesome. Like, it's good that you know your shit. Like, it's like, actually,
Yeah.
I appreciate someone that
like,
actually
I like Bill said, I appreciate that
can
you're
argue, like, can actually give can actually have
an
a
informed
reasonable
argument. Yeah, it's great.
an informed argument, but not like be rude. Like, because there's so many people that I know, or there's so many people that I've encountered where it's like you try to have like a conversation, and it's like people can't realize that, hey, we're having a conversation here. Nobody's like, nobody's going to be a dick about it. It's just like, we're sharing our views, and you're actually having like I don't know. It's just nice. It's kind of refreshing to have someone that actually is like, realizing that you can debate without being like.
I see it
crazy.
as a way of learning perspectives, and I love learning other people's perspectives.
Absolutely.
Seeing how other people view the world and stuff, and knowing that we can all be different and still get along and love each other in this world.
The way I view it, right? I view debating as a way to get to the truth, right? Because I want the truth to guide me, right? If I always tell people, if atheism were true, I'd be an atheist today. And so,
I don't even consider myself an atheist, to be honest. I don't consider myself anything. I literally just I don't put claim to anything.
Not even agnostic.
No.
So
I mean, I guess maybe I could lean more towards agnostic if I really wanted to put a handle on it, but no, I really don't have like any religion or anything at all.
And you don't want to become a pagan. You don't want to join in paganism.
What's paganism?
Or pagan, or be a pagan. I guess whatever.
Paganism is the belief in many gods rather than just one, which is
no.
It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Become a Buddhist monk, maybe.
Ironically, this is where we get to my area of expertise. See, my belief is that there is some sort of a divine energy that presented itself to various cultures in various ways.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't think there's necessarily a God, but it's sort of a divine consciousness that humanity is connected with. And it presented itself in the way that the people of the era were most willing to accept it.
Well, I don't know. There's just, I don't know.
Because if you
Okay,
look
well,
at a lot of different religions' teachings, they're all very similar, just worded differently.
Well, you mentioned that this was a way how to get out of your way of your dark days and stuff, right, Elijah? Is you pray to God and then you use the support system around you, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, correct. Which I think that's a great way that everyone needs a way out of the dark days, and I think it's great that you have your way as well. And then when I just
Yeah.
want to learn more about you, but you said Bill told me that you also have a podcast too. Is it also affiliated with the organization, or is it
Yeah.
just a
It's
separate
the same thing, I
podcast?
think.
Or
Well, there's two of them. There's the Destroy to Shame podcast, which is
Okay.
position,
Mhm.
and then I run a podcast with my friend Brian too. So we have two podcasts.
What's that
What,
podcast?
yeah,
It's conversations with Brian and Elijah, and we talk basically about very deep things.
Philosophy?
Philosophy. Yeah, he actually just got his philosophy degree. We talk business, we talk investing, we talk politics, we
Damn.
talk um, uh, literally anything that is very serious. I'm a very serious person. Like I said, I pursue the truth all the time, right? I was actually getting criticized last night for being too logical. I was like, wow, okay, logical. But that's what I like to do is seek after the truth and let the truth win out. And so politics, business, investing, all that stuff that's what I love. That's what I'm passionate about, right?
So, what do you do on the Destroy and to Shoot podcast? Is just this to shoot? I'm sorry, my apologies. I am a terrible linguistic.
We know.
Yeah, thanks. I guess is what's an episode of that podcast like?
Well, it depends on who we're interviewing, but if it's a person with a disease, we want to get to know them, right? So the audience can connect with them and relate to them, right? Because one of my major things is I want to show that they are people too. That's very important. And then we talk about the disease. Hey, how has it impacted you? What's your story? Yeah. And then if they have something they want to bring up, they can bring it up, and that's essentially the podcast, in short.
Right. I was actually on it. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
How many episodes deep are you in?
Published? I don't know. 6 or 5, something like that. But it's
early.
It's very early, but it's growing very quickly because so many people have already done interviews. I have them on my laptop. Upload them, edit them. We have to release them at the right time, right? It's all something else I'm passionate about is marketing, right? And so all of that, you got to market it the right way.
Love that. I love it. Okay, so we've talked a lot about you, your organization and stuff, and I have a question. Like, okay, who is Elijah outside of the organization, outside of the disease and stuff? Like, what is a fun day for you? Like, if does that make sense? Like, who are you outside of this? Like, what's a typical day for you? Like, where you go to release stress or have fun, or what are your hobbies and stuff outside of D&D and your organization and such and such?
People get shocked by this answer. I could give you 2 answers, to be honest with you. There's two Elijahs, I think, when it comes to that. One is, honestly, a great day is doing business, is doing public speaking, is accomplishing stuff, is being ambitious, is helping people with their suffering, is being. That's a great day. That's like, yes, let's go. Making that big deal, that big thing. That's a great day. Love that. But I guess we're talking more on the fun side, probably, but that's fun though. Like that genuinely is fun, but I guess like traditionally fun or more commonly known as fun would probably be like, going out with some friends, getting some food, I'm a big basketball fan, football, going to a sporting game or something, maybe playing some video games or something like that. Just kind of chilling, listening to music or whatever, I think that's great. That's what I would say would be like, I guess, more commonly fun. So I'm a real people person. I like to be around people, love to talk to them. Like you said,
I can tell. Yeah.
I like to see different point of views, right?
Right.
I like to
As do I.
do stuff like that, and
Hmm.
all.
Cool. And I guess we're coming towards the end of the hour and stuff, but like, what's your future look like? I mean, is there school in the future? Is there a business plan in the future? I mean, I know obviously there's the organization, which is that if I'm making an assumption, that's probably like your top priority, right?
Yeah, no, that is a
Yeah.
top priority. But
Hmm.
I mean, right now I'm a biology major.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if I continue on with that, there's that. My book and all that stuff, whatever that leads to. Yeah, that's kind of the future as right now. I want to complete the cure, and do all those things that lead to that, right? Like the book leads to that. The public speaking leads to that. All that. And then I'm also very interested in talking to people more about God. I think, like I said, that's a very important thing, and I want to logically have conversations about it. Like, let's get good logic. Let's not just, and I don't mean this in any offensive way to anybody, but like,
No,
let's
absolutely not.
oh well, believe it because it's in the Bible, or because my parents believe it, or because you
Yeah.
need to have faith. Whatever. It's like, no, like, let's let the truth win out. Let's look at the evidence and and I think those are fascinating conversations. I think people are very interested in that.
Absolutely.
And I think
Oh, absolutely. Like I mean,
I like
I don't know if I
interesting.
came off offensive or anything like that, but no, I absolutely love having conversations with different viewpoints where we may not see the same way, but we both see the same world and we see it in a different way. And I think that's fucking fascinating. And
Right.
that's what I love about philosophy, sociology, psychology, all of that. It's
Yeah.
amazing that we're all in this world together and everyone sees. We all
ultimately,
have eyes, we all have brains, but the way we each see everything is just it's different.
ultimately, you want to get to the truth, though, right? Then there you go. Like, if you're open to the truth, then you let the truth win out by doing it through that method.
Yeah.
And so and that's what I said. I want to be on the side of the truth because, like, honestly, if I think about that logically, adding more logic, right? If I'm not on the side of the truth, then I'm on the side of
Right.
a lie, or I'm on the side of belief, and I don't want to be on that side. I want to know reality. I want to be on the side of the truth. So
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. No,
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's
definitely another conversation for another day. I'd be happy to do that with you.
yeah.
But
Changing a
we're coming
worldview,
close to
though.
the end of the coming close to the end of the hour.
It's a difficult thing. That's a
And
difficult thing for some
but I
people to
just
swallow.
yeah. But I just want to thank you, Elijah. You've been a phenomenal guest, and you are extremely inspiring, especially for like I mean I'm not even that old. I'm only 30, but like I said, at 15, I was nowhere near as like motivated or as accomplished as you are, and I think that's phenomenal. And I love the fight you have, the drive you have, and especially the passion you have for your organization and
That's
not
awesome.
finding the cure, but completing the cure.
Yeah.
And I love that slogan, completing the cure, because everyone's always like, find the cure, kind of cure. But I love that. And
Right.
I'd love to know more about you in the future and see where that book goes, see how far the organization goes. And what like, as of right now, as we're coming to a close, is like, what's something I can do right now to help this organization or to help you in any way?
Or how can someone watching help?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, how can someone watching help?
Or
Not
listening.
just me or us.
I think follow on social media and spread the word, right? We need to get this to more people. More people need to hear about the cause. So I think, at Destroy the Shin, DUCHENNE, follow that, spread the word, and check out the organization. Go to destroytheshin.org.
Yeah, Bill, make sure you put all his
Destroy
handles and everything in the description when we post this on YouTube.
Wait, Duchenne is DUCHENNE, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'd think I would know how to fucking spell it, but
You knowing how to spell?
maybe.
No, that's me projecting because I have no idea how to spell at all. I'm a terrible speller. But I guess anything final
No,
anyone wants before we wrap things up?
I think we had a great conversation. I once again thank you guys for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Right. I think it's this.
You cut out at the last second. What did you say?
I said I appreciate the conversation a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me too. the best way to get to know someone is through conversation, and I'm a communications major, so working that out.
Very much agreed.
Where are you
This
at
was
on
awesome.
Twitter, Elijah?
At Destroy Disease. It's that someone took the shin, so at Destroy Disease.
Well, you got to take that handle back from them.
Yeah.
That's a new mission.
Who has destroyed the shin?
I don't know, some dude.
Do they even have like a big following or anything?
No, I don't even think they're active. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you got to find a way to get that handle from them.
I hate it whenever that happens. I know the pain of it, though.
Yeah. No, I especially in the future, I'd love to have like a conversation with marketing and business with you, because marketing is actually something I'm trying to get into, and I'm starting to read books on marketing. Right now, I'm reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I think is a phenomenal book. I don't know if you've read that before.
Dale Carnegie, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, thanks again. Really happy to have you on here, and I guess I'll do the closing. So everyone else, thanks for tuning into another episode of Wheel Life Problems. You can subscribe to us wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Twitter at Problems Wheel. You can follow me on the social media. I'm at the Rickles, but remember, I'm not on Twitter. You can follow Bill at Wheelchair Gamer. You can follow John at Glitched Vision. And Elijah, you want to throw your handles out of there again?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow the organization, or you can follow me personally, Elijah J. Stacy, on basically every.
Elijah J. Stacy. All right. Well, expect a follow from me in the upcoming day or so.
All right.
But
Good.
yeah. Thanks again, everyone, and remember to keep it wheel.
And don't lose sight of the future.
All right, everybody. We'll see you later. All right.
Yep.